Hello, so in today's video I'm going to do an unboxing of some old Star Wars toys. Now unfortunately I'm not able to have my collection out on display. I literally do not have the space to do it, not with everything else I've got out. So for the moment it's consigned to boxes either in my loft or in my parents' place. It's not all together and it's not all out on display, alas. So what I've done, I brought down this first box for us to have a look at, and we'll unbox it. We'll see what's in there and then we'll go through the bits in a bit more detail. So sit back, relax, and let's have a look what's in it. Okay, so this is the first box that I pulled out from the old man cave, and well, it's definitely got some Star Wars stuff in it because I have had a little peek. However, I've only looked at the top layer. I haven't gone through any further than that, so I do not know what's actually going to be, what we're going to discover in this box, but it's going to be fun to find out. Now, this is the first of many, so we'll see how these go. What I intend to do then, I'll just unpack everything, and then we'll have a closer look once we've done that. All right, so let's have a look first of all then. So, a really good one to start, which is a carded yak face. So I've got a big story to tell you about this, about how I had an amazing find of Tri-Logo action figures, all brand new, when a shop in Plymouth was actually shutting down. So that's something that I'll definitely relay to you as we go through these. This next one is a Kenner Princess Leia in Bespin outfit figure, so we'll have a look at that as well. This is one of my favourite pieces, and this is actually the 12-inch Princess Leia. Now this is the Dutch clipper version of this one, so certainly one of my favourite bits, that one. What else have we got here? This was as far as I got. Pallet Roy, which is the British escape from the Death Star game. I think I've got 3 or 4 different editions of this from different countries, like a German one, a French one, the American one. So this is the British one. What else have we got here? Okay, so these are mid-90s mugs. So I did sell Star Wars stuff in my shop from 92 to early 2000s, and the best of the more modern stuff I still pick up to this day. If you hear any like barking or panting in the background, that's just the dog roller. Now this is another clipper thing. This is Darth Vader. So this is like a Dutch mail-away version of Darth Vader. Once again, I used to sell these in the shop. For like, I think at one point we had about 100 of these. I kid you not. They were available wholesale through Diamond, so one of those in the collection. What's this? Electra Set. So I'm a huge fan of Electra Set and Helix stuff. So this is some envelopes, so we'll have a look at those. I do like Star Trek. This is one of the more modern mini-mates, so that's ended up in this box. Kirk with his tribbles. This is the Hoth Wampa. This is the Pallet Roy one. It's a nice boxed one of that, so we'll have a look at that. What's this? Fruit Pastel Lolly 1997. So 22 years old. Fruit Pastel Lolly wrapper. Oh, I see, you could cut, there was a competition or something. Oh no, free Star Wars tattoos inside. Can't see any tattoos in there, but it's the box anyway. Kenner speeder bike. Always classic, that. The last thing in the box is not even Star Wars related. It's Escape from Colditz Castle escape kit, made by Parker but distributed by Pallet Roy, so semi Star Wars related anyway. And that's it. That's the first box. So I'll just pause the video there and we'll have a look at these bits in a bit closer detail. Okay, so here's the first thing that comes to hand. So this is the Pallet Roy Hoth Wampa. I remember getting this one at the time. Like some of my stuff, it was on display for a little while until the family came along, and so it's got a little bit of shelf dust, as we should say. I remember these little bounty hunter emblems. This was peculiar to Pallet Roy in the UK. You could save those up to send in for a mail order figure. So what state is the actual Wampa in then? This will be the moment of truth. So I suppose not too bad. You could say he could do with a wash. Like a lot of these things, he's aged and yellowed a little bit, but I suppose the important thing is just having him boxed. So the arms are quite stiff on that. So I imagine the actual mechanism's all right inside. But yeah, not mint, but not bad by any means. And I certainly do love the anything Empire Strikes Back related toy-wise. So that's that one. Now these were the two mugs I picked up. These, when I had the shop, Purple Haze in Plymouth, these were part of a range, and I just picked up these toys to pick up Boba Fett stuff all the time, and that was quite a nice one. 20 years of Star Wars. A couple of collector's mugs there. Here's a closer look at that Clipper Darth Vader. So as I said, we had about 100 of these, and the wholesale price from Diamond, I remember, was something like 87p. I kid you not, plus VAT. And we just knocked them out for like £253. So inside this is just a sealed Kenner baggy version of the regular Darth Vader figure, but still really nice to have. I remember getting some of the other ones in these, like Admiral Akbar. I got Boba Fett in a mailer back in the day. I also got, I think, was it Dengar or Zuckuss? I can't remember now, but one of them. So that's quite nice. This is part of my Electra Set and Helix collection. So this is just a pack of envelopes. It's not it's sealed. You see where the glue's gone around, come through there. It's sealed, but I imagine that probably would have been in plastic seal at some point. But it does list some of the other stuff that's on the back, and I've definitely got some of this. The Princess Leia Jotta. I don't think I got the scrapbook. Stormtrooper manual, definitely. So some of these should come up as we work our way through the boxes. But I do love the old Helix and Electra Set stuff. This was that, not exactly Star Wars, Colditz Escape set. So this is still sealed in actual fact, and probably pretty rare, I would think, in that. It's more tied to the TV series, devised by Major Pat Reed. He was the one of the original escapers from Colditz, and worked on the TV show. Let's just stick that over there. This was the non-modern Star Trek Mini-Mates. I love Trouble with Tribbles. It's my favourite episode. This is just like a little Lego style figure of Kirk with some Tribbles. Art Asylum did this one, and when was this? It's quite recent, I would think. 2003, so relatively recent, I guess. This was that Fruit Pastel Lolly box. So there's no tattoos in it. Maybe I've got them separate, but this had 4 Star Wars related lollies, and this is I guess I can't enter the competition now because it ended in June 1998 for Lion's Mane. This is in the UK, so something a bit different. Alas, no tattoos in that one, but there may be somewhere else. What's this? This is a speeder bike. So this is a nice sealed $24.95, I'm guessing. Nice sealed US one. Not exactly difficult to get hold of, but what an iconic toy that was, and it was cheap as well. I remember seeing literally piles of like 100 of these for $1.99 in the toy shops when Jedi was waning a little. This was always the bit you could pick up without too much trouble. Now this one, as I say, is one of my board games. Now I think I've got most of my board games all together. I picked this Pallet Roy version up simply because I do have other versions, and it was one of those ones I'd like to get. There is a Japanese one that I'd definitely love to get hold of, but alas, it might be a little bit expensive. So this is the British one, which is, as I always love Pallet Roy stuff. Here's the board, yeah, and then the Pallet Roy instruction booklet. So this is one of the earliest British Star Wars items before the figures came out, a bit like in the States with the early Bird kit. So that's that. Now a couple of figures here. So we got the Princess Leia. Now this is not particularly the greatest of cards, this one, and like a lot of the American Kenner ones, it has started to fade a little. The bubble's definitely yellowed. Not great, but you know, it is what it is. You know, I mean, I try and have one of every figure on a card, and I've got that bar. Some of the obvious ones like Vinyl Cape Jow. I don't have a carded one of those. I'm happy with my loose one that I've had since I was a kid. So that's that one. Certainly all my figures are in these plastic cases. I think I'll put probably some of my favourites in there. And then we got Mr. Yak Face. Let's get these out of the way a bit. So we've got a bit of a room here. So as I was saying, I actually got this particular figure, and I paid. Let's get it out of the packaging first of all. So let's see, it was probably around 1990, 89, 90, possibly a year or two earlier. I didn't have the shop at the time, and I was working for my father in the local pannier market, and I used to, each day I would take his banking to the local bank for him, and I was walking past a shop one day and called Muldooney's in Plymouth, and they were closing down basically. And Muldooney's, I just looked through the door, and just in the distance I could see what looked like Star Wars figures. I could see the Tri logo, and lo and behold, I went in, and there was a wire basket, sort of the size of a small table, full of Tri logo Star Wars figures. In fact, everywhere I looked around in the shop, all I could see was old toys that they pulled out the back, and everything was either half its original price or less. Now, this big metal basket was full of the Star Wars figures, and it was predominantly last 16, or what we call the last 16, or in the States, the tail end Power of the Force figures, including Yak Face here, who I'd never sort of even seen before, because by this time I'd waned a little for collecting all the new Star Wars stuff, and they were 29 pence each. All right, so you almost can't believe it now. So yeah, 29p. So I basically took the entire this entire basket over to the counter, and I said, "I'll have them all, please." And she said, "Well, we haven't got any bags." I said, "Well, I don't care, let's stick them in a bin bag." So that's what she did, and I bought, I think at that time, I think it was about 50. There were duplicates in there. I remember there was lots of R2-D2 lightsabers. There was Luke Stormtrooper, Han and Carbonite. Then lots of Ewoks and like lesser figures, but there was only the one Yak Face, and this is my original one from that fight. I mean, it hasn't even been punched. It never even went on the shelf. The only thing that I took off it was a Muldooney's 29 pence sticker. So I kept one of each one for myself, and then I just sold or traded the rest on at the time. And there was loads of other stuff that I found that day. There was the stuff I left behind, makes me want to cry. There was carded Mego figures, Pallet Roy Mego figures. There must have been like 30 Slave One ships. That was £7.50 each. And the, Ben Cooper costumes, I remember dress-up costumes. I mean, there was just endless. Loads of the bigger ships at like half price, as Millennium Falcons, Jedi Falcons for like a tenner. Just incredible, and no one was buying it. Just nuts. What I left behind from that one find haunts me to this day. Action Man stuff that you just wouldn't believe, but at the time I didn't really know anything about Action Man per se, so I just left it all behind, and I took the stuff that I did know. So I did pick up some of the Megos. I got all the Star Wars stuff that I could afford. There was the Dennis Fisher Doctor Who Tom Baker doll, £7.50. There must have been 50 of those there. Talking Daleks. It's just incredible, you know. One of those great once-in-a-lifetime finds, and it was certainly the backbone for me to start collecting mint-in-box Star Wars stuff, because it was such a lucky find. But back then, people weren't really picking it up. I mean, Yak Face itself, you know, it wasn't even a known collectible. It was just part of the range. So, hey-ho, I was just lucky to keep what I did. And anyway, the last bit for this box was this gorgeous Clipper Princess Leia doll. I do have a couple more 12-inch dolls. I've definitely got an R2-D2. I think it might be the remote control one rather than the 12-inch series one. But I do love this one. I seem to remember getting this the person I got it off, I got it in the early 90s. I think I paid about 80 quid for it, 100 quid. And he had 3 of these, and he had 3 Luke Skywalkers. And unfortunately, I couldn't afford the Luke at the time. So I did just pick up the Leia. I was really close to taking this to a show, in fact, and getting Carrie Fisher to sign for it. But at the last minute, I couldn't quite make the show. But this was the piece I was going to take along to get her to sign. So that's a bit of a shame. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed looking through this box as much as I did. And certainly some things I hadn't seen in literally 10 years. So it was great fun. Now, if you'd like to see some more of this, do please like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment below. Just tell me the sort of thing you're looking for, and I'll see what I can do. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.